Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
There will be an ad at the end of this video. Now, a lot of people sent me this story. A lot of people. In fact, I did a live stream on Sunday. I had people in the live stream going, Steve, you've got to do this story. So here I am. From 9news.com, Weld County Town charges $340 for some speeding tickets, despite the rule capping them at $40. It's happening in Colorado. Steve Steger and Anna Houston wrote this. Drivers are questioning whether expensive photo radar tickets from a small Weld County town are legal. The tickets issued by the town of Kersey charge vehicle owners $340 if they're found speeding 25 miles per hour or more over the posted limit along a stretch of Weld County Road 49 near Colorado Highway 34. But TV station found out that Kersey's ordinance regulating the use of automated speed cameras caps the penalty that the town is allowed to charge for any speeding violation at $40. $40. So a woman from Highlands Ranch said she was shocked when she opened her mail in late October to find a $340 ticket issued for a trip she took to spend an afternoon on a nearby lake with her boyfriend back in September. I was like, all right, this needs to be brought to people's attention because this is crazy, she said. So she did some research. The Colorado law allowing municipalities to use speed cameras, which is a measure passed in 2023, caps what municipalities can charge for photo speeding tickets at $40 along regular roads or $80 in school or construction zones. So she called because she wanted to dispute the ticket. And she said an automated phone system instructed her to write a letter to the town. So she did that, and she's been waiting for a few weeks now looking for a response, and has not heard back yet. So she was ticketed along a stretch of the highway where the speed limit drops from 65 to 45 in less than a quarter of a mile, right as 49 approaches 34, as the county roads and highways. The speed camera sits about 100 feet away from the sign, indicating the speed limit is now 45. So there's a speed limit drop, and the camera's right there. According to the ticket, her vehicle was clocked at 74, which would have been 9 over on the faster stretch, but a little bit more now than she's in the slower stretch. She said, I think it's definitely a speed trap. It's a moneymaker for the town of Kersey. Now, the TV station did a records request and discovered that the town has issued 39,000 photo citations since May. Drivers have paid $413,000 worth of citations since then. And of course, this is what it's all about. How much money do they make off these tickets? And you have to understand, and a lot of places don't have speed photo enforcement cameras, but places that do, here's what happens. But many places, they say, well, if you get a ticket from one of these cameras and it's automated, if you pay it, you've got to pay the fine, but you won't get points on your license. And so because of that trade-off, people are like, oh, I'll just pay it rather than fight it, whatever that might involve. So a woman who lives a few miles south of the speed camera along County Road 49 drives that stretch of road each day, taking her son to daycare and then going to her own job. She has received 6 tickets for $340 a piece. Now, keep in mind that if they're all $40, it would be a grand total of $240 according to my math, and it's early in the morning. But she's gotten 6 tickets for $340. She was asking herself, could this be a typo? She said the tickets weren't delivered until weeks after the violations, so she never had a chance to correct her habits. So, in other words, if she'd gotten a ticket saying, hey, $340 for all your speeding, she could have said, oh, okay, and behaved accordingly, as they say. She said she does not have the money to pay more than $2,000 that she owes on these tickets. She said, I've tried contacting them, calling them, I've left messages. But again, they want you to write to them. So the town council passed an ordinance regulating the speed cameras back in March. That ordinance follows state law, which sets the maximum penalty for photo speeding tickets at $40 along regular roads and doubling it in construction or school zones to $80. The TV station asked the police chief of Kersey about the tickets and that inflated price. The chief wasn't available for an interview, but in a statement, he said that a carve-out in the state law allows the town to disregard the provisions of that law if drivers are clocked on a speed camera driving more than 24 miles per hour over the limit. So he said the town charges $40 for drivers clocked below 25 over and $340 to drivers clocked above 25 miles per hour or 25 and above. He argued that if a police officer had pulled a driver over for speeding more than 24 above, the driver would be issued a court summons and the misdemeanor would add 6 points to their license if they're found responsible. He said these $340 tickets don't require a driver to go to court and don't add points to a license. But the same is true of the lesser tickets. They might not be misdemeanors, but you got to go to court. You might get might get points and so on. So a state rep from Greenwood Village who co-sponsored the state law said that the carve-out was not designed for this purpose. She said, this is not meant to be a revenue generator for the local government. This is supposed to be a safety component, a tool in the toolkit to get folks to slow down. So TV station learned that 931 drivers have already paid their tickets for $340 since May, totaling $316,000, about 76% of the revenue the town has collected from photo cameras so far. Criminal defense attorney said the town's own ordinance seems to supersede the state law carve-out that the chief is citing. It doesn't allow for a difference in penalty based on the speed the radar clocks. The Kersey Municipal Code, enacted by the town council, indicates that the most they will allow someone to be fined on an automated camera is $40 unless they're in a school zone or a construction zone breaking the limit. And so the lawyer points out he works for this town, referring to the police chief. He needs to follow the town rules. So he also points out there's nothing illegal about a speed trap, though, and anyone clocked driving over 45 miles per hour could be fined. The tickets themselves are allowed. What isn't allowed is the size of the fine. Okay? And by the way, these people aren't disputing that they were speeding. I mean, so the attorney suggests anyone who received a $340 ticket should dispute it and, if needed, go before a judge and argue that the ordinance doesn't allow the hefty fine. So after the TV station and Steve on Your Side asked about the discrepancy regarding the $40 cap in the town's ordinance, he said he appreciated the feedback and was internally reviewing the matter and would respond as soon as he could. I am internally reviewing that. Were you thinking about it? Or is there an internal review going on by somebody else? I'm just curious. But yeah, so it's pretty straightforward. It appears that there is a state law about how these cameras can be used, and there's a local law about how they can be used. And the local law says specifically $40 typical or $80 in a construction zone or a school zone. And somehow people are getting tickets for $340. The police chief says, well, state law says we can do it. Yeah, but you got your own city ordinance there, don't you? Don't you have your own rules? Shouldn't you be following those? And you would think. And so the question is, what will happen when a judge looks at this? Because it's unclear if any judges have looked at it yet. But somebody who gets one of these tickets needs to fight it. And I'm hoping that now it's gotten publicity like this, that some attorneys are out there, waiting for one of these tickets to come along. Because instead of just paying it, you do whatever you got to do to get it heard by an actual judge. And there's got to be some sort of process that allows that. And so you fight it, whatever you got to do, and you wind up in front of a judge and you say, here's what the statute says and here's what they're doing. And if a judge says, oh, that's not good, and strikes it down, then what you do is you let people know about that and see if some of these people who paid that money might be able to get their money back. Because that's the other question, is if you voluntarily paid the money and didn't fight it, can you get your money back? And I would argue and say it's worth a shot for $300. And of course, someone else might think, class action. And again, I know a lot of people who are down on class actions who say, Steve, what are you going to do? You're going to get like a coupon good for a free large fry at the local diner? Well, in this case, $300 per person. And we have the names and addresses, the city does, of every single person who paid that fine. So you could file a class action that says we want refunds for everybody. And that wouldn't be that hard to figure out. So that's an interesting angle. But really the question is, when there's a state law that says, here's what you can do, and then the city, the village, the township, whatever it might be, passes a law that says, here's what we're going to do, and here's the law that governs it. Well, you should be following that, you would think. And that law says $40 or $80, not $340. And they're saying, well, no, but the state law says we can. Why do you even have a local law then? Why'd they pass that? And one thing you have to remember, as a legal concept, and I talk about this from time to time, general legal concepts, laws are supposed to have meaning. And I know you're saying, Steve, that's so painfully obvious. No. You have to understand something. There's one law that says this and another law that says something. If it appears to say the exact same thing as this, you say, okay, that's what it's meaning. But then you ask yourself, why was the law passed if it says the exact same thing? Well, it was passed because it was addressing this specific entity as opposed to this entity here, the whole state. But for that local ordinance to have any meaning, the locals have got to be following it. If the locals don't have to follow it, why was it passed? So to give it meaning, you think you'd have to follow it. But it's strange. So the other thing someone could do is go and appear before the council that passed the local ordinance and say, hey, just to let you know, your ordinance says this, here's what they're doing. Why are they doing that? And you might be able to get it corrected politically, but that wouldn't help people who've already paid. That's the problem. So everybody who sent that, thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. It came from 9news.com out of Colorado. Weld County Town charges $340 for some speeding tickets, despite the rule that caps them at $40. And Steve Sager and Anna Houston wrote that. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye. I told you at the top there'd be an ad at the end of the video, and here we are. We're here to talk about hydro rowing machines. I recently got a hydro rowing machine. I love it. I get up in the morning. First thing I do, I jump on the hydro for 20 minutes. And then I get off the hydro and I go on with my day. And I start the day feeling good. I'm all warmed up. I'm fired up for the day. I love my hydro. Hydro is an immersive fitness experience designed to reconnect the body with how it's supposed to move. And so what you do is you get on the hydro. You're doing the rowing action, but there's a screen, there's a catalog of 5,000 workouts, actually more than that, where you follow along with an instructor who could be an Olympian, but they're all experts, and they will do the rowing with you. They've also got some yoga and Pilates classes you can do, but the rowing is the coolest thing. And they even do rowing in scenic destinations. I've rowed along with an instructor in Europe, in Florida, in Boston. It's so cool to watch the scenery change, and you're rowing along with somebody in the comfort of your own home. So down here you can watch me use mine, but the rowing machine from Hydro is so cool. Among other things, rowing uses more muscle groups than running or cycling. And if you followed my channel for any length of time, you know that I'm a runner. I've run 13 or 14 full-length marathons and a bunch of shorter races. I've done a lot of biking, mountain biking, and so on. That's put me in the hospital once or twice. But here's the thing. Rowing actually works out more muscle groups, and it feels like it. And that's the thing. And so, you get up in the morning and you do 20 minutes on the rowing machine, and Hydro is just perfect. So along with just having the instructors who help you, there's performance tracking. There's hydrometrics that are available on a couple of the machines where they measure the precision as to how well you're following along, your endurance, and so on, how much power you've exerted. And of course, this thing tracks the distance you've covered, the calories burned. It's amazing. And it's got electromagnetic resistance built into it. And what that does is it mimics being on the water. So it actually feels like you're pulling against an oar on the water. So it's simulating that experience so well. I can't speak more highly of it than that. So the real important thing here is that they have 3 different machines. They've got the Hydro Origin, the Hydro Wave, and the Hydro Arc. I've got the Hydro Arc. So for instance, the machine I'm using has got a 24-inch high-def screen. The screen pivots. You can adjust it around. You can also, if you want to, fold the machine up and put it in a corner. I actually leave mine out because I use it almost every single day. In fact, I'll put up on the screen I'll look at the dashboard that I see after I'm done working out. I can look and see my progress and so on. They track that all for me. It's very, very cool. There's an app you can use and so on. But there's also the ability to hook up a Bluetooth and a heart rate monitor. And it's just an amazing experience. It's such a great workout. And that's the thing, is that I've tried using other things, other ways to work out, other stuff I can do. And stuff quite often can be boring or tedious. And I'm here to tell you that the 20 minutes on the Hydro with one of their instructors flies by. It just flies by. So right now, what I'm going to encourage you to do is check out Hydro, check out the link on the screen, because right now, Hydro's Black Friday deals are live. You can save on their rowers and use my code Lehto, L-E-H-T-O, for an extra $50 off your order, which stacks on top of the current site-wide deals, okay? This is Hydro's best sale of the year. And right now, for instance, without my code, you get $550 off the Origin, or $200 off the Wave, or $200 off the Arc. But you can do that and then stack another $50 off by using my code. So I can't stress this enough. You know, there's a lot of different ways you can work out, but the Hydro doesn't feel like a workout in the sense that many people dread. Oh, I've got to go work out. Oh, no. Like I said, I get up in the morning, I jump out of bed, go to the Hydro, put on my shoes and socks, and do 20 minutes of rowing. And it could be in Boston, like I said, it could be in Florida, it could be in Europe. And there's different instructors who are walking you through the process. And you can also choose, do you want to do a 20-minute easy row, 20-minute hard row? Do you want to mix it up? What do you want to do? And there's just this gigantic catalog to choose from. And the interesting thing is that I find myself finding new videos every single day, because obviously there's 5,000 to go through. It's not like, oh, I've done this one yet. No, that hasn't happened, and it's not going to happen. So I can't speak highly enough of how much I love my Hydro. I got it a little over a month ago. I've only missed 1 or 2 days, and I had a good excuse, primarily because I was out of town twice, where I lost a couple days. And then there was one other day that I took off because I was sore, because I kind of overdid it the day before. But the Hydro is, like I said, it's more fun than anything else. And I love this thing. I've been telling all my friends about it. I've been hey, come over here. Try this thing. So Hydro's Black Friday deals are live right now. You can save big on their rowers and use my code Lehto, L-E-H-T-O, for an extra $50 off your order. And that stacks on top of the current site-wide deals. And those deals are, they have the 3 different models. The Origin, $550 off, or the Wave, $200 off, or the Arc, which is like the one I'm using that you saw, $200 off. So again, I can't speak highly enough. I love my Hydro.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. If you are not willing to risk the usual, you will have to settle for the ordinary.